What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here, and we're here to review the WWE Smackdown Live for April the 11th, 2017. This is the part 2 of the Superstar Shakeup. Myself and Dylan are going to get all into everything that happened, but first, somebody has seemed to take in the place of Dylan Villa tonight. Like, I don't know who this guy is exactly. He's just wearing this strange mask. I don't know if it's from Japan, if it's from Mexico. I don't know who this guy is. If he could try and explain to me, maybe via vignette or video package, who he is, maybe he'll get over with me. But we'll see. Excuse me, sir. What's your name?
You don't know my name? I come on review and you don't know my name? I am Cesar. But you should know who I am already.
Who's Cesar?
Oh, Cesar, he wears a mask and he wrestles. Woo!
So basically Cesar is everybody in the WWE.
Exactly. Okay. My problem with this company is that you bring in superstars and you don't give them a character. Cesar had more of a character than you. Not really, but come on, man. Nakamura, Dillinger, what are they doing? What's their character? I'm just giving an example of how lazy this can be done in 3 seconds and how this company is like, no character for you. No character. But the casual audience didn't know who I was until just now. So, for shame.
Anyways, guys, we're going to try and get through this review kind of quick today. I have practice later, and it's just like we're trying to shorten the reviews in general because I just figured, like, if I shorten the reviews a little bit, maybe I'll hate the product less because I'll talk about it less. So then that might save my soul in the long run if I talk about wrestling less for like 2 hours in one day and I cut it down a little bit. So hopefully we can do that tonight. I want to know what you guys feel about the product right now, what you feel about the shakeup, what you feel about SmackDown, what you felt about the show. So far, we do have 7 guests in the live chat. We have AV Gaming, who says he's first. We have Trey, he's back. He says it was decent, nothing really surprising. Glad Rusev and Lana are coming to SmackDown. One of the more positive points of the show. We'll get into that. Arian is in the chat, of course. He said SmackDown was so bad tonight, and he was DMing me all SmackDown long. That's for sure. He said he hated the pointless matches or the matches that we've seen before. The indie garbage that ruined Raw has come to SmackDown and long-ass main event. The WWE boy said SmackDown was pretty decent, I guess. Chauncey says, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. What's going on, Chauncey, bro? Thanks for coming in the chat once again. WWE Boy says, Cesar for champ. He has more of a character than Sami Zayn. That's all I know. All right, let's get into the Superstar Shakeup Part 2 for April the 11th, 2017. I guess you could kind of call this a SmackDown. You could also kind of call this just a WWE show because we had Raw and SmackDown Superstars. Like last night, it was a Raw and SmackDown collab. So we'll get into the show. Maybe that's something that did hurt these shows is that they didn't really know. They didn't have any storylines on the shows because they were trying to figure out, who's on what show. But we'll see. We'll see next week. But let's start off with the Kevin Owens promo. So the first guy to find out that he is a part of SmackDown Live that was a part of Raw, he's been traded to SmackDown Live, is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, sporting a different look, comes out with a suit. He looks cleaned up. He has he's shaven. He has, a nice haircut now, trimmed beard, all that stuff. Now, they do say that he is the prize fighter. I think JBL throws that out there. That has been his gimmick all along, but hopefully he continues to come out in the suit. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Owens as we talk about consistently, but he can cut a good promo at times. I do like the approach that they took with Kevin Owens here, and hopefully that's what they're trying to do with SmackDown. You could see a couple times with a couple different characters that SmackDown is trying to take a different approach with some of these different wrestlers when they put them on their show. And Kevin Owens was certainly the one that stuck out like a sore thumb. Definitely the one that stuck out the most. He was just sporting this whole different look, and he didn't have that beard, which he had on Raw. I think it just makes him look better. It makes him fit the prize fighter gimmick a little bit better. And overall, he looks a little bit more respectable and more like a wrestler, Dylan. But I'm just going to go through the promo real quick. I don't want to go over in depth. I have a ton of notes for it, but simply Owens basically cut a promo. He cut a Canadian promo. So he's now the US champion. And a lot of what he said here kind of speaks to the new character, sort of switch of character that Owens is going to be heading to in the future. It seems like they're going to try and utilize his background a lot more, him being a French speaker, him being from Canada, especially now that he's the United States champion. I think they're going to be pushing on SmackDown the fact that he is Canadian and that Canada is better than America and all that stuff. So basically he said, Canada has better athletes. The Canadians beat the Bruins, which I hate when people say that in the NHL because half the league is Canadian, like 20% is European, like 15% is American, and then there's another 5%. So it like all the players are messed up. It's not just like one, not like Montreal is all Canadian players. Like I just hate when people say that. But anyways, in simplest terms, they said that the Canadians are better than the Bruins because they're in Boston, of course. I like the part where he did the two language thing, and he said that you guys are, morons for only speaking one language. I thought that definitely worked with Kevin Owens. And then he went on a rant about how he would beat the hell out of anybody in the locker room. So basically the new face of America is here, and that's Kevin Owens, a Canadian. I like it. It's simple. So Baron Corbin comes out. Corbin basically says that it was very, very scripted. Comes out and he says that, that Owens could beat up most of the locker room, but he couldn't beat up him. He beat up Ambrose. He beat Ambrose. He deserves the title shot. And Ambrose beat Owens. So how easy would it be to beat Owens now? Basically is what he said. So then we get Sami Zayn who comes out. Don't know why, but Sami Zayn comes out. And then basically he says that he's finally here on SmackDown. Owens freaks out about Zayn being there because, of course, they're past. AJ Styles comes out. Have no idea why, and I have a huge problem with the AJ Styles thing. We'll get to that in a little bit. But AJ Styles is going to face Corbin and Zayn for the United States Championship opportunity to face Kevin Owens. Okay, I want to get into it right away before Dylan gets to it. Why in the blue hell is AJ Styles going from WWE Champion to Shane McMahon at WrestleMania to facing Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn for a shot to face Kevin Owens at the U.S. Championship? If anything, he should just be able to face Owens. But no, I hate WWE nowadays, how they constantly lower a person. You never saw, like in the 80s, for example, this happened very often. Once a wrestler was a main eventer, he never went backwards. You know what I mean? Like, there was a reason why Mr. Perfect, Jake the Snake, Ted DiBiase, Roddy Piper, all these guys weren't world champions because, once they didn't become that world champion, once they were in the main event and they got their opportunity, they never went backwards to fight for the U.S. Championship or the IC title. Why should AJ Styles want to wrestle for this title? His number one goal should always be, once you've gotten the IC title, you should be trying to make your way up to the WWE title. You shouldn't be wanting to go from the WWE title back down to the Intercontinental Championship or the United States Championship. It just doesn't make any logical sense to me, Dylan. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro?
I understand what you're saying because, if you are a WWE champion, you're the number one guy. And if you lose that belt, through a series of events, there's been a ton of different WWE champions in the last couple of months. Now, all of a sudden, we're just getting a mid-card feud with AJ. If your goal is, let me give you an example. Randy Savage, right? He won the Intercontinental Championship and then became a WWF champion, faced Hulk Hogan, stayed near the main event for the most of his career. That's the goal. And if he wasn't in a title feud, he was in a big time feud with somebody else that was important, like Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake, all that stuff. It wouldn't make any sense to go, hey, I'm WWE champion coming into Royal Rumble, and now I'm going for the U.S. title. Doesn't make that much sense.
But do you know what that also does? Do you know what that does, Dylan? That devalues your wrestlers.
Yep.
And it devalues. Once you try, like, a perfect example is going to be Bray Wyatt. He was just WWE champion. You're trying to make this guy a star, as I'm wearing a Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton shirt. You're trying to make this guy a star, and now eventually he's going to be coming back down on the card. You need to make feuds that are still in the main event. Even if it's not for, like Dylan said, even if it's not for the WWE title, Savage would be facing guys like Warrior, you know? So that's just my problem I have with it. Like, if you want to maintain, it's easy to create a star for a day or two, or to have a star for a portion of time, but it's hard to maintain a star. And now AJ Styles isn't a mainstream star, but he's about as big of a star as this company has at the moment. So wouldn't you want to, like, maintain him in the main event and not devalue him? That's all I'm saying.
And also, okay, so Orton has the belt on SmackDown, and Wyatt has, is on Raw. So I don't know if he wins this Chamber or House of Horrors match or whatever. But let's hypothetically say he doesn't, because he's going to be on Raw. Wouldn't the next logical thing be for a contender for Randy Orton be AJ Styles? I'm just saying that would be a sufficient next feud for Orton if he was to retain the belt. But whatever. I guess this is what we're getting. I think, I like AJ Styles. Of course, I'm a huge fan of him, and I appreciate what he's doing, and he's still putting out the hard work. It's a little confusing. But what I did like about this segment was Kevin Owens. I like the fact that he looked clean-shaven. He looked like he was prepared to be a wrestler. Not a wrestler yet. He's in the preliminary stages, but it looks a lot better. My grandma watched the first half an hour of the show because I told her this was a better product. She said, I like how Kevin Owens speaks. I like how he sounds like he's a well-mannered person, which I know, of course, is different for a grandma. But, she liked how he spoke. And then when Baron Corbin came out, she's like, I can tell this guy's reading from a script. That's a problem. I could kind of see where Baron Corbin was faltering, but I still thought it was one of the better segments of the night. Just kind of confused where this direction is going for all four of these guys, really.
Yeah. So we have a couple questions here and just comments. So Ash says, so the U.S. title and IC title switch shows. Yeah, they did. Basically, That's all that happened. What else we got? He also says Randy Savage won the WCW title a few times. Yeah, he did. Arian says, because they fucking need to do the match with Bray, which is stupid because he's on Raw. Well, I don't understand what he says. Who comes up with this shit? I don't know, bro. A WWE boy says, who do you think was the greatest IC champion of all time? Now, I think if I had to narrow it down to a few of them, I would say Savage. I would say Razor, Perfect, Jericho, Shawn. Those would be my people that I'd throw out there.
9-time Intercontinental Champion Jericho, by the way. Miz.
Yeah, I just think I look and Warrior. I look towards like the guys like in the 80s, early 90s as the more memorable champions because they had them for a long time. It was a very big title. Like it meant a lot. Like when Jericho and Shawn had it, even to a certain degree, it didn't mean as much to me. They had it more times and it was more like a part of their career, in my opinion, but it wasn't as memorable as like Razor with the title, like as Savage with the title or Warrior with the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I'd say all those are pretty acceptable. Not very hard. All right, now I think next segment.
Chris says, what up, though? What up, man?
What up?
Okay, let's get to this match. Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Rowan's entrance music was freaking terrible. The match was physical. I liked the use of stairs, very short. And they had Bray Wyatt cut a promo during the middle of the match, which was kind of interesting. Randy was just standing in the middle there and middle of the ring. And Bray cut a promo. Basically, he's freaking great. I don't know why the guy isn't like the top guy, like one of the top guys. Like, I don't know why he's not Undertaker level. Like, the guy is freaking ridiculous on the mic. He's fucking amazing.
Now, I'll tell you about this. So, my grandma watched this segment. This is the last segment she watched.
And his laugh is amazing, by the way, before your grandma.
Okay. So, I was like, I'm interested to hear what she has to say about Bray Wyatt. 3.5 years worth of talent right here she had not seen. So she sees this promo and she's like, I like this guy. He builds his character. He sounds like a movie. I know he's like, I know you watch an entertainment show. He sounds like he wants to put the entertainment level. And I'm like, five stars. I like this.
No, I loved his laugh. His laugh in this was great. Yeah, his laugh was great. So basically they were building up the House of Horrors match. My complaint about this, obviously, I liked how Rowan kind of went over and they maintained the heat for the Wyatts and Rowan. That was good. I liked it. Something that Raw wouldn't do. But something that I didn't like is just the fact that Randy and Bray aren't utilized enough. This is the WWE title feud, and it was on for 10 minutes. You had you had 2 times more Sami Zayn on the show. Like, what? I've hated that about SmackDown since the very beginning of SmackDown Live. Your WWE title should be in the beginning, middle, and end of the show. There is no ridiculous thing you could tell me why Randy Orton should only be on the show for 10 minutes in a match.
Well, and especially in this feud, we've been talking about how many times they've been lowered to such time constraints. Like at Mania, their match was 10 minutes long. And in most of their segments, they haven't been more than 10 minutes in total. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it, bro.
They do what they can for 10 minutes, but
you're gonna get a Bray Wyatt freaking great promo every single time he does it, and you're gonna get a solid Randy Orton spot, a spot. You're gonna get the RKO. You're gonna get excited for 5 minutes, but that's about it. They don't give you much past that, and how much are you really giving these guys to show off when you only give them that much time? That's just, I hate it. You would never see that even 5 years ago. I mean, Cena would be on at least 30 minutes of the show.
Oh, at least.
Okay. Next, we have Usos versus American Alpha for the tag team championships. Why in the heck are the tag team champions getting the jobber entrance?
That pissed me off, bro. I saw them in that day one gear, and I was like, all right.
Where is the day one sweaters? Are they on WWE Shop yet? Seriously, I asked the Usos, because we met the Usos, if you guys didn't know. I asked them where the day one sweaters were, and they were so pissed off that they weren't at the WrestleMania shop store. They literally got so mad. And then I calmed them down because I said they're the best tag team in WWE. And then they're like, thanks, bro. We appreciate it. So
I got you. They're literally the only championship not to be defended at Mania. I would have been pissed too. That's so stupid. I've always said, first off, the champion should come out last. No question. So they didn't even get to show their entrance. What the fuck? And then we get to after the match. That'll be just so much better. I'm searching up the WWE shop here. No, they do not have day one shirts or sweatshirts on the shop.
Bullshit. Chauncey says he's got the whole world in his hands. Arian says, we've seen this so many times. I completely agree. Yep. And the reason I agree is not because we've seen it so many times, but it's been the same thing. We've never seen any feud build up for this. It's just a match between the Usos and the Alpha. It's no build up in any story.
That shit out of nowhere. When's the last time these teams have been on Raw or on SmackDown? 3 weeks ago?
The tag team division is messed up. I mean, they never put a storyline in these matches. They never give you a reason to care. The only reason to care is because the Usos are freaking entertaining and the Alpha could put on a good match. But other than that, nobody would care. The casual fan, nobody would care. They would be the Usos, cool, they look cool. But besides that, Nothing. I mean, come on. It was like a good match too. It was entertaining. It was very short. It was fast paced. It was action packed. It was a good match, but didn't really care. And it was kind of obvious the Usos were going to win too. True that. We also had the Shining Stars attack everyone after the match. Interesting that they weren't in their normal getup. They were in street clothes. So I wonder if they're going to change their gimmick somewhat. We'll see.
I hope so, because I like that. I saw that too. So
yeah, we'll see. There's another question here. Ash says, who is the greatest WWE champion of all time? Mine is the Hulkster, he says. Ooh, I would probably narrow it down to the three people. I mean, Austin in 98, Hulkster in the 80s, which is probably number one. And my personal favorite, I got to go with The Rock in 2000 because that's my favorite guy. So, yeah. Sorry, but I would put Hulkster first, probably Austin second, Rock third. After that, I don't really know. Like, you could look at maybe.
There's been so many great ones, honestly.
There's been a lot of very good ones. The next one that kind of sticks out to me is actually Brett. I know that you're going to hate that, but I mean, he wasn't great, but like, he's just, I don't know, like something about it. I don't know. I guess because he represented a generation. Maybe that's it.
Go watch our video why he's not the greatest to understand why.
Yeah, he didn't carry the company all that great, but yeah.
I gotta say, Hulkster, brother. You know, it's always great.
Hulkster's got to be first. Easy.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, there it is, right there. 8x10 signed by my jersey's in the back, so I got it signed by him. Austin is my all-time favorite, so gotta put that up there. Rock, great. After that, one guy that didn't have a lot of great title runs, surprisingly, with a WWE title at least, was Taker, which is surprising.
Yeah, he's not really memorable as a champion. It's usually the big, huge face, you know?
Yeah. Well, and neither was Shawn, because he didn't have a title run after 98, and his heel
a lot of his were heel runs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Triple H is kind of memorable, I guess.
Triple H is memorable. There's certainly a few out there that I appreciate, but those are my top three. Okay. We got a comment from WWE fan or the WWE boy, Mitch Dillon Falls Count Anywhere match, Mania 34.
I don't know, man. I don't know when that would happen. I demand a
match in Bottom Line Feud history. It's like the Rock and Cena feud. We're gonna build it for a year.
Build it for a whole year. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Next, we have Mojo Rawley versus Jinder Mahal. The most interesting part about this, that was Rob Gronkowski in the crowd. And then he took his beer and he said, "You want to throw a drink at me, big boy?" And then he throws it in his face. And Mojo Rawley wins. That was pretty great, and it was in Boston, so it worked even better. Mojo is starting to get over with the help of Gronk, I guess. I don't mind Mojo that much. I want to see where he goes with this, but we'll see.
He's a good mid-carder. I mean, gets you hype. You stay hype. So that's good. And, of course, Rob Gronkowski. Go.
Okay. Shane McMahon. So they have a Shane McMahon promo. He's going to announce who the new SmackDown Live members are for the women's division. So Shane says thank you to all the SmackDown Live wrestlers who moved to Raw. And basically thanks everybody that's been a part of SmackDown so far, the land of opportunity. Shane invites SmackDown, the whole SmackDown Live women's roster down to the ring, which is only 4 of them. So they each have their individual entrance. I was kind of wondering why he was inviting everyone to have their individual entrance, but then I saw that was only 4 of them. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So they have, so they have Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, and Becky come out. And then what happens is they're all in the ring. Ellsworth grabs the mic after Shane says how great of a champion Naomi is. And Ellsworth says, "You're wrong. Naomi is a horrible champion. Duh. Only reason people tune into SmackDown each week is to see Carmella." And I'm starting to like Carmella more and more every week. And it's not because I already liked Carmella, as you guys know. But she continues to kind of add to her character every week. Like the way that she kind of does the way that she'll work alongside Ellsworth is getting a lot better. Like just the facial expressions and the way that she plays up her character. And now she has the whole jacket and everything. Like she looks like she has an entire character and a gimmick. Like, if you look at the other, like, women's wrestler on the show, I don't really know what Becky is. Like, they always say, like, straight fire and stuff. She doesn't have that, like, look that looks like superstar, you know? Like, she doesn't have, like, the big coat and, like, the bling and stuff that Carmella has. Like, Carmella stands out to me, which I really like about her. Naomi has now her Feel the Glow thing, so we'll see where that goes. But, yeah, I'm just starting to like Carmella more and more because she stands out among the rest to me. Any thought on that?
Well, I like Becky Lynch, but they also give her.
I know you do, but like Becky doesn't have.
No, I know.
Like,
I'm saying. Let me say. They don't give her much.
Too.
They don't like. She can be a really good babyface. They just don't give her much to work with. So I don't know. Like, it's kind of like you're a good babyface, but we don't know how to add on to that. I like Carmella. I know because you're a big Lakers and Patriots fan. That kind of helps out a lot.
Oh yeah, I liked Carmella even in NXT before I knew that. That's true, right?
I know.
Yeah.
You were always on Carmella before Alexa Bliss. I must add that. Yeah, I think she's good. I like it, and like you said, she's playing up the character, which is a good thing. So I
just like that she's kind of adding to herself every week. You know,
yeah.
It seems.
I think she'll be a solid contender.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know where she fits in, especially when we talk about in a minute, but she certainly deserves to be in this position. So
yeah. So Naomi says that you better get your side chick back, or you better get your side chick before she gets her chin checked. I don't even know. I don't even understand what she just said, but it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. They're kind of like I don't know how I should say this, but they're trying to like involve like her culture into her gimmick, I guess.
Is that what we're calling it?
Basically, Shane tries to introduce the wrestler that is going to be a part of the SmackDown Live women's division, and the fans start wooing, of course, because everybody reads the dirt sheets and they think that Charlotte is coming. So that's how you could tell that this is the hardcore fan base at the arena, because they all are starting to woo before Charlotte even comes out. So Shane introduces this Hall of Famer's daughter, and it's Tamina. Tamina comes out, and she's now going to be a part of SmackDown. I didn't even know she was still on the roster, but apparently she is. So she's on SmackDown. And then finally, Shane gets to the point of no longer teasing the audience. The Queen comes out. I kind of liked how she just came out, and, you know, they said, oh, it's the Queen Charlotte. Everybody knows who Charlotte is. If you watch wrestling, you probably know. Even if you don't, like, even if you're a casual fan, you know who it is because, oh, that's Ric Flair's daughter. So she comes out, and she's there, and it's cool. It's like, but it's much better the way that they did this this week than how they introduced Nakamura last week, because no one in the blue hell knew who Nakamura was last week. But this week, they know who Charlotte is. So I liked it. It was kind of cool. It's like, oh, the Queen has arrived, put on notice. So I like it.
And it left right after that. Like, it took the notice of that. And it's like, oh, next week, Charlotte's going to be here. So that's cool. I found the Tamina joke hilarious because she's just awful. But then Charlotte's there. I'm guessing Charlotte will go for the belt. I mean,
Chauncey says beat up Becky.
Jesus, Chauncey. God. Chill out, my man. Okay, chill out. I don't know. I'm not really feeling this Charlotte Naomi feud that I'm expecting them to do, because Charlotte Flair. But if she's got to win every belt in WWE,
I think it could help Naomi.
You think she wins the feud, or does she keep the belt?
But I think it could help elevate her. But I also think I like the prospect of these two women facing off, because they're both very athletic, and they're kind of like the same size. You know, so it kind of like works for me a little bit.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to discredit a feud yet because we haven't even seen it.
Yeah, we haven't even seen it. We don't know what the issue is. We don't know what the feud is, but
so I'm not gonna say here and say it's gonna be a bad feud.
I just think it was an interesting choice. Like, it was probably the best choice to feud with Naomi, in my opinion, was Charlotte.
She's obviously been the most built up. Like, none of these other women could sit here right now and say, like, oh, I have a decent reason as to be like to challenge you. I guess that's how I'll describe it, because technically they all lost in the women's match at Mania. So bring in somebody that wasn't from that match. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. We'll see. It could be good. Could be good.
Arian says, watch Charles Flair, Barry, Carmella, and the rest of the talent. What else we got? He says, bro, going from Alexa to Charles Flair is like going from, I don't even want to say
I'll just say it's a Fresh Prince of reference. Jesus.
Arian says Charles Flair is disgusting.
Guys are
Chris says Ric Flair with a pair of tits. Everybody's hating on Charlotte tonight. Hi, Dad. I really hate you right now. That's basically every one of Charles Flair's disgusting promos. Okay, so a lot of hate on Charlotte. Interesting. My thoughts on Charlotte. I actually like Charlotte, but the thing with Charlotte, I actually thought she looked good tonight, guys. I didn't get the Charlotte. I didn't get the Charles Flair impression tonight.
I mean,
sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't.
He looks better with makeup. I will say that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I don't hate her that much. I think I don't like how her fans think of her as the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
I mean, her push is kind of annoying, but she should be pushed like that. She's a star.
Well, I mean, she does. I mean, she's gonna get over more than most of these women. So I will say that.
Yeah, I think she's a star. We're going to continue on. Aiden English versus Ty Dillinger. So this is probably where me and Dylan are going to disagree.
To a degree. I think I'll agree on some points here.
Okay, so I want to say this before we get into this. Gotch was released by WWE. If you want to check out his thoughts on the release, go check out my boy Vince Russo's podcast. He interviewed Gotch about WWE and his release. So you could check out Vince Russo's podcast about it. It was very good. Check that out. No, man, it was a really good podcast. I enjoy listening to Vince Russo's podcast. So, Gotch was a good listen. So this was interesting. They have Aiden English basically like premiere his character. And it's like him singing through a spotlight. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to get a match and he's going to win. But instead, we have Ty Dillinger come out and basically he buries Aiden English in 1 second. What does this do for Aiden English at all? You just get rid of Gotch. You have him premiere his new character, basically his new character. It's similar, but as a singles wrestler, his new character. And then that's it. Like, he's done. From day one.
I hated this. I honestly, I'm going to agree with you on this part. Aiden English, by the way, this is kind of what he used to do when he was a singles wrestler back in NXT. No one will get that, but I used to watch the NXT. So
yeah,
that's just me, nerd. I like Aiden English, and I feel like if you're going to put effort into giving somebody a character, why do this segment? You're not like this is a lose-lose situation. In my opinion. And I like Ty Dillinger. I've expressed that many times. And I know Mitch will disagree.
This is how I feel about Ty Dillinger.
You like the gimmick, but you don't like the wrestler.
Okay, Ty Dillinger. This is Ty Dillinger for me. Ty Dillinger is a guy who acts charismatic, who is not charismatic. And the reason why he acts charismatic is because his gimmick is good. His gimmick is very good. But you put his gimmick on somebody else, and it would be that much better. To me, Ty Dillinger is basically, this is the reason why he's been around in the company for 15 years, but has finally gotten a place on SmackDown. It's because the guy isn't that good. He's been given a gimmick that is very popular amongst the hardcore fans, so they're going to give him a chance, and it's not really going to go anywhere. Like, he's going to have that 10 chant probably for a long time and everything. But they're never really going to push him that much. So if you're a fan of Ty Dillinger, you probably shouldn't have your high hopes because I don't think he's going to go very far. Just with the fact that to me, like, he's a guy that acts charismatic, that is not that charismatic, and his gimmick gets him over more than himself. That's just my personal opinion. Dylan, you can have your own personal opinion, and you can describe you can describe why you think Ty Dillinger is something different. But that's just how I see him. I don't see him as this big star to me.
I will say this will happen if they continue to do these stupid matches. If they continue to just put him against Kurt Hawkins or Aiden English or another mid-card wrestler next week, I'm not going to like that, of course, because you have to build him correctly. I think he's got potential. I want to see what they do. My problem is that they're just giving him nobodies to wrestle. So we're not really stepping up from where he was in NXT. I think he could do something, just not right now. And this is also part of my Cesar, who's going to be champion one day, right? These guys, where's the promos? Where was Ty Dillinger talking about what he's going to do? Where was Nakamura?
Ty Dillinger has not said a word yet.
Not a word. Well, unless if he mouthed 10, okay? But other than that, like, I just, that annoys me. That annoys me a lot. And we'll get
How do you have a guy just wrestle 2 matches in 2 weeks without saying a word?
That's happened 3 times in 2 weeks. The Revival, Ty Dillinger, and I guess Shinsuke talked tonight, but does that really count? Not really.
We'll get into that. Okay, so they had a Lana vignette. If you're talking about a star, she is a star, bro. There is no bigger potential than Lana. Lana is perfect, bro. Perfect.
Nah, that's a 10 right there.
She is a 10. All right. So that was a pretty good vignette. So the question goes, because I know that Arian was wondering, are they separating Rusev and Lana, or are they keeping them together? I know Rusev is injured. Or are they just doing this to have Lana continue, doing something on TV while Rusev is hurt? What do you think's going on here?
I think both. I think they want her to do something while he's hurt, but I think they're going to see where this goes and maybe give her a push out of it, which is good. I mean, Lana, we've seen her wrestle.
Does this mean she's going to be a wrestler, though?
I would like that. I mean, like, I like seeing her as a manager, don't get me wrong, but, like...
I think she could wrestle. I think she could do it, and I certainly think, like, she has all the potential in the world to be a massive wrestling star, but she's so good as a manager. Like, I guess it will help her, too, because at the very beginning, like, if you want to be a wrestler, but you want to start off as a manager, now Lana has separated herself from all the other women, and she has gained all this extra skills of talking on the mic and finding a character, because without a character, a manager is basically nothing, right? So you find that character, you find the voice, and now you can work on your craft as a wrestler later on. And maybe that will help Lana that much more become that one of the top stars in the women's division. The only problem I have with Lana as a women's wrestler is I don't know if I believe her, like believe her facing like a Charlotte. You know what I mean?
That comes down to training, I guess. I don't know how many matches he's really had, but I see your point. But I'll give you an example. This is a way bigger example, but it kind of falls into this. It's like a DDP. He talked about it a lot in his Hall of Fame. He's talking about, I used to be a manager. I rode the car at WrestleMania 6, and I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. But what he learned a lot as a manager is he knew how to talk. He knew how to be charismatic. So when he got into wrestling, he became a big star. I'm not saying Lana's going to be the big star of DDP, but I'm giving you an example of how a manager...
She definitely could be.
I don't know. It depends. I don't even know where the prospect of Lana goes to. But if they give her something to go along with, you create interest and you create something good with Lana, which is good. I mean... I'm not saying we need more talent, but I think Lana's good, so we'll see how it goes. But I don't know if they're going to just keep this until Rusev gets healthy, or they're splitting them up.
It seems like she is adding like her dancing background into her gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw that, who was it? Somebody tweeted whether the Byron Saxton reaction, him dancing on the chair to New Day coming to SmackDown, or the Lana dancing on the chair, which one was better?
Does this mean that he didn't dance on the chair to Lana, but he did dance for New Day? I'm just gonna put that out there. That's not good. But Lana, it was great. It was a great segment. I tell you what.
Okay. Dolph Ziggler promo. So Ziggler comes out and he says some things that don't even make any sense.
I can't
And
wait.
I don't think this is really his fault. I mean, they don't really know what the hell Dolph Ziggler is doing at this point. So basically he comes out and he says, so all this shakeup, but what about Dolph Ziggler? He says, spoiler alert, I'm staying right here on SmackDown Live.
We would have known that yesterday if you were on Raw.
You know the show I built and made cool. And then he just goes off on something I don't even know where he was going on. And then Nakamura's music hits. So Nakamura comes out. And again, nobody knows who this is besides people that watch NXT. I literally have in my notes, this has to be confusing a lot of people. Because this guy is just coming out. His entrance, you might like his entrance. Fair enough. He gets in the ring. And then what happens? Ziggler says exactly what's on my mind. Are you new? I don't know who you are. Who exactly are you? And I'm like, exactly, Ziggler. Exactly.
That comment would have worked perfectly if Nakamura had told me who he was. Nope. We got like 10 words out of this dude.
Arian says they need to give Ziggler the dude love gimmick.
5 stars.
And everybody on Twitter is popping for Nakamura. Oh my God, he's the most over guy in wrestling.
Oh God.
He's the most over guy. I'm like, yeah, with the people in the arena he is. But like, nobody knows who he is. You need to explain who he is. You need to give him a character. If you did, it would help a lot, man. And then he comes up.
I'm Shinsuke.
And then he says his name. Like, I don't. And then just to put on top of that, I know a lot of people are fans of this guy. I don't hate him and I don't love him, but I still have yet to get what it is about him that people love so much. Like, I know that you like him a lot, Dylan, so maybe you could explain to me. But I've watched him for a while now in the WWE, whether it's NXT, shows, whatever it may be. And I just don't get it. To me, and maybe it's my bias towards I'm not a huge fan of the Japanese wrestlers, especially when they can't speak English. But you come to WWE, and I know that it's very hard to speak another language and learn another language, and it's nothing on him, but like, he doesn't know. He barely knows how to speak English. That's not going to get over with me personally.
That's what I would like. I would like him to have a manager. Okay, this segment was very infuriating to me.
And it was really long. Like, he just sat there for a long time and said his name.
So first off, he gets in the ring, right? The crowd is going off, and they're like, "Oh God, it's Nakamura!" Yeah. And then like we're waiting, and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting, and I go cook popcorn. The popcorn's done. I get back on my seat, and I'm still waiting. I'm like, what are you going to say? Okay, he finally takes the microphone from Ziggler in this 10-minute exchange and says, I'm Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay. I know your name. It shows up on the Titantron. So tell me something different.
But he can't. That's my issue.
No, he can. I mean, I'm not going to say he talks or speaks like well, but I think he knows a little bit more than one sentence in the English language.
But it's not his fault though, even. Like, as much as I'm going to like say that it's as much as I'm going to say that I'm not the biggest fan of Nakamura, you need to give him something. You need to give him video packages. You need to give him storyline detail. You need to give him a character.
And this is
did they have Edge come out without anything?
Bro, it was the new Brood, or the Brood back in the day with.
Did they have Gold Dust come out without anything?
Val
Did
Venus.
they have Crime Time come out without any? Did you know what Crime Time was before they came out?
I knew it just based on their name, and then they came.
Bro, Crime Time had some of the most underrated vignettes of all time, bro.
Bro, they're so good.
They were actually hilarious. I like when I was a kid, I was dying laughing at those.
They were great. Okay, there's so many. Give me something. I tweeted this out, and Mitch saw it as well. Okay, I like Nakamura, right? But how are these guys supposed to get over when nobody knows who they are, right? If I go
no,
up to
he's already the most over guy in the company.
These people, and I've seen it on Instagram. He's big because he's so good in the ring, and he'll get so much better. I don't know what his character. I don't know who. Why am I supposed to cheer a guy? Jesus Christ!
This show just frustrates me, bro.
And so I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, just give me something. I don't care. Don't say you're Nakamura and then just beat up. And then last week he came on a segment with The Miz, said absolutely nothing, and it meant absolutely nothing. What's the point? Miz is on Raw, so that didn't even happen. And what, are they going to do a feud with Ziggler where we have 5 words of communication between the two? Either give me a manager or give me something for his character as a singles push. Because on otherwise, we're just not going to see him do anything.
Okay, so they had like little video packages throughout the night of Corbin, Zayn, and Styles, and then basically they were showcasing who they are. And even that would help for Shinsuke Nakamura. Thank you. And then basically that was to build up to the match. They also announced that New Day was coming to SmackDown Live. Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles was the main event of the night to find out who the #1 contender for the U.S. title was. Again, no sight of the WWE title. It was a decent match overall. AJ Styles won with the phenomenal forearm, but I don't really care because you're downgrading AJ Styles by having him win this match.
I liked the match. I thought it was good. I was kind of preoccupied doing some other stuff, but Styles won. I am disappointed that he is not in the WWE title run, but I'm just gonna. I don't even know. I guess just get what you get here. I think Styles is good, and I'm guessing he'll have a feud with Owens. So if Owens does good in adapting to the character now on SmackDown,
does that mean Styles is going to turn face though?
I think he started to turn face even tonight with this.
That's
promo.
true. No, I think actually last week he did.
Well, yeah, when he did the handshake with Shane, yeah. I think they're slowly turning him face, so I think that's a good thing for him.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the show, guys. That's the show. That's WWE Smackdown Live for April 11th, 2017. Let's give our grades and get out of here. All right, you ready to give your grade?
I'm ready to give my grade. Giving this show a half point better than Raw. 4 out of 10. It's great. I usually like SmackDown, but tonight with the Superstar shakeup, first of all, it looks like SmackDown got beaten to a pulp in terms of what talent they got, because Raw got so many great guys and SmackDown got a couple of good guys, but nothing as big as Bray or The Miz. The show kind of felt lazy. Nakamura and Tai, what are their characters? What is their purpose? Why do casual people care about these two guys, even though I like both? The opening segment and final segment were good, and some of it, like the tag team stuff, where was this? Where's the build-up? Just kind of lazy overall. And SmackDown should know way better. Hopefully it gets with the new cast of wrestlers, they can do better. But this episode was not a good representation of SmackDown. Silence.
I'll give this show a 2 out of 10. I gave last night's a 3. They didn't have a segment like Reigns and Braun on the show, so basically that was the difference between the two shows. What did I like on the show? I liked Kevin Owens a little bit at the beginning of the show. I liked Charlotte's introduction. I liked Bray's promo. And I like Gronk. And I like Lana's vignette. But nothing was great. Nothing was, out of this world. Nothing was, fantastic. I could care less for a lot of it. A lot of it was boring. A lot of it was dull. No storyline. No progression. It was just a boring show, and that's why I'm giving it a 2.
Giving it a 2.
All right, guys. Plug away, Dylan, and then we'll get out of here.
Plug City. Favorite time of the day. Cesar for champion, of course. But if you don't want to hear about Cesar, that's fine. I'm here to promote my new show, my new 8-part series. It's called 20 by 20. why wrestling isn't cool anymore. We talk about it a lot on Raw. We talked about it tonight on SmackDown. But I'm here to figure out what has wrestling changed? Why has it changed? And why has it become so shitty in 2017 to where we almost never have a positive review? So I'm going to be doing an 8-part series. 2 parts are with me going to intro and outro. And the next 6 parts in between are with guest interviews, talking about Attitude Era, old school wrestling, how it was so much better, how we can change today's wrestling, if today's wrestling's kind of dead in the water with people. So that series is coming out. The trailer coming out Friday, April 21st. So next Friday, check out for that. That's going to happen. And the first episode I'm hoping to have by the end of April. That's my goal. So I'm trying to promote this up and get it hype. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. NBA predictions video Thursday or Friday, gonna be one of the two. So for the playoffs, so stay tuned for that.
When do the playoffs start?
Sometime next week. I do not know, but
I might have to do a predictions video as well. And for myself, make sure you check out the Attitude Era Raw reviews. The first one is coming out on Sunday. That's Easter. So definitely check that out, bro. And for sure, if you guys like support the Attitude Era stuff, then just know that the more you support the Attitude Era reviews, the more we can start focusing on, older stuff and like WCW Nitros, SmackDowns, Raws in different years, because right now we're in 1998. And again, this is the show where DX invades WCW and Kane, Paul Bearer says that Kane is his son. So a lot going on in the Attitude Era reviews. Very excited to get that out to you guys this Sunday. So check that out and support it if you guys want more retro wrestling. Thank you guys for watching this SmackDown live review for April the 11th, 2017. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, we'd really appreciate it for more wrestling. And like the video if you did enjoy the review. From Mitch and Dylan of The Bottom Line View, deuces.